Hola, buenos días. Soy Nico.
It sickens me to my stomach. I'm tired.
And today we're here to start off another wonderful week's worth of content. But we're actually going to be talking about a subject that we've talked about prior, but it's something that I was not expecting. As in, it's about a gay for pay performer that I did not know was gay for pay. Nico! Before we get into all that, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on Patreon at patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive videos, weekly lives, and to be a part of the live streams that are every Thursday, 5:30 and 7 p.m. CDT, with a multifaceted panel where we discuss various topics. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in. Now, last week's comment. Ray Potts using light skin as a slur when he's colorist himself. Be effing for real. And, you know, that's the thing. Like, when people say things like that about light skinned people, it doesn't necessarily faze me. I will say it's the first time someone said, "You ugly light skinned bitch." So, caught me off guard. But overall, colorism actually affects darker skinned people in a far more serious way other than light playground teasing, such as job opportunities, education opportunities, housing opportunities. I hate when the conversation is just like focused in on sexual access opportunities because, okay, you can't have sex with somebody. Girl, there are a lot more pressing things going on in life that actually affects darker skinned people. That's why when I have conversations about colorism, I always make sure to bring that up. But people make fun of light skinned people. Like, it doesn't really faze me because at the end of the day, it's just teasing. It's not like it's going to actually affect my life in a more detrimental way when colorism actually has severe repercussions for people who simply exist in the skin that they were born in. So once again, Ray Potts comments, girl, I don't give a fuck if I'm being quite honest. But yeah, back to the video. And now we can actually get to the actual video. So I say this is a surprise because Timothy Champange, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a very popular white OnlyFans performer that I did not know was gay for pay. Allegedly, tweets came out from years ago where he identifies strictly as straight, and he essentially made a video talking about how he became a millionaire by performing gay for pay content. So people were rightfully upset, but at the same time, I actually sat down and watched the video. Off rip, I'm going to start off with the commentary that was said about him, and then I'll actually get onto the video that he put out because it was like 6 minutes long. I'll see if I can put it on here. If not, because of copyright, I'll work around it. Essentially, people were upset because he came on and basically said how he became a millionaire off of gay for pay content, and he showed the bank statements, and they were statementing. They were making their rounds because that man is making money. He makes in 1 month what I make in a year off of OnlyFans. So it's kind of crazy. So I saw a lot of people, especially gay content creators, coming out being rightfully upset, saying this is outrageous that a straight man could infiltrate our community in our circle and make all the money that should rightfully be distributed between the people that actually belong in the community. And I've come online and said that prior before. You know, this entire conversation is like talking points that I have consistently reiterated in my own videos. But when it got deeper into it, people were talking about how his content is boring, how he doesn't necessarily deserve all this money. Black and brown performers started coming up saying that when they collaborated with him, it was basically, oh, I'm not going to market it. Oh, I'm not going to post about it. I'm basically just going to throw it on OnlyFans. And that's what you get at the end of the day. So basically half-assing it when it comes to black and brown collaborations, but when it comes to the white performers that he performs with, he goes the full 9. So I did want to add that in because the performer came out and commented on that. So I don't want to sit up here and just omit that from the conversation because that can rub some viewers the wrong way. But what I will say is, even though he did gay for pay, he didn't necessarily rely on that angle to make the money. Seeing as how I completely thought he was gay. I had no idea he was straight, but he does benefit from the fact that he is a straight presenting muscular white man. That's something I'm always going to like have to add into the commentary when we discuss these like pay wage gaps, seeing as how even if we look into corporate America, heterosexual white men tend to make more money than gay, straight, etc. black people. So it's not surprising to find out that he makes money hand over fist doing content that a lot of people perceive as boring for the sole fact that he is a straight presenting white man. In this situation though, he did follow up with a 6 minute long video basically saying all the things I tell you guys when I talk about is it a good idea to make an OnlyFans in 2023, 2024? I've had the discussion a few times.
I became a millionaire off of gay porn. Here's why you should not get into the industry. First off, this job is not as easy as you think it is. It's as hard as any other career. You might as well just go with a regular career if you're considering this. This isn't a cop-out. This isn't something you can just do. If you want to just do this on the side, you better have a real job to hold you down. And maybe just do porn to have a little bit of extra spending money on the weekends. Because I'm telling you, if you try to turn this into your full-time job, it will take over your entire life, just like any other career. People lack respect for what I do for a living. You're not going to be able to tell everybody what you do for a living. I put so much work into this job, an unbelievable amount. I've made so many sacrifices for this job, an unbelievable amount. I've done things I'm not comfortable with for this job, and people still don't respect what I do for a living because they just see it at the surface level as being lazy and a cop-out. The fact of the matter is, I'm not going to make $1.2 million this year by being lazy. That's not how that works. In fact, I know a lot of men who are as attractive as me who aren't going to break making $50,000 in a year, and I will make $1.2 million. That's not because I'm lazy, that's because I'm a hard worker. And people will look down on you for doing this career, which is insane to me. Another reason you shouldn't get into this industry is because you're probably not already popular on social media. Don't do this shit if you're not already popular on social media. If you're thinking about doing this as a job, as a career, start posting on Instagram, start building an audience. That's what you need to do. It's boring as fuck, but you have to do it. And don't expect to make thousands of dollars immediately, especially not now when there is a tremendous amount of competition. I've been doing this job for 6 years and my income still fluctuates tens of thousands of dollars every single month. What's going to happen when you make $5,000 one month and then all of a sudden the next month you only make $1,000? But you've already quit your main job because you thought you had a future in this. That's what happens to new creators more than often. Another reason you might not want to get into this industry is because you're going to have to do things you're not comfortable with, okay? That's how that works. That is if you want to make the real money, which you probably do. And by that I mean I have to take it in my pretty frequently, even though I don't really get any pleasure from that. It's called acting. You better be a good actor if you want to make the real money. If you just want to skirt by and maybe just have a little bit of extra spending money on the weekends, you can do that. But just know that once your content is out there, it's out there forever and everybody will be able to see your naked body. So I hope that's something you're comfortable with. However, you probably won't have to do anything that'll make you too uncomfortable if you just want a little bit of extra spending money for the weekends. So that works too. I just do get scared for people that, you know, maybe they want a different job someday and their boss finds their new on the internet and doesn't accept them for that reason. I've been in this industry for 6 years. And when I started, I already had 25,000 followers on Instagram. This was 6 years ago. That was a decent bit. I started posting on Instagram when I was 16 years old. I was consistent with it through when I was 18. When I was 18, I tried to do professional porn. That didn't really pay enough. There wasn't enough potential for growth for me in that industry. So I just started to work on my OnlyFans page, and I've been consistent with that ever since then for the most part. Another thing that's tough about this job is breaks are incredibly punishing. You can't really take breaks. So I have 10,500 fans right now paying $10 every single month. If I were to take a break for about a week, I would probably lose 15 to 20% of my income. So good luck getting sick. Some people mitigate this by having posts scheduled. I don't do that because I like making sure all my content is current. That might be stupid, but that's the way I like to run my business because it keeps me on the edge, it keeps me working hard, and it keeps me motivated. And I've noticed if you're posting old content you're not super confident in, it never performs as well as the stuff you are going to be confident in. And I frankly am a hardcore perfectionist and I have OCD about everything I put out. That does help me in my career in many ways, but it also damages me in many ways too. Like I said, if I were to get sick, I'd be fucked. Now, if you're still watching and you're like, hey, I think that I meet all the prerequisites, I'm already kind of popular on social media, I already have a decently large fan base, go for it. All I gotta really say at that point is practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice making content, practice editing, practice filming, practice taking pictures, practice in every single aspect of this job, because this is an incredibly competitive business and you are competing with everybody else who has a social media account. There's a lot of other creators out there because creating a social media account is free, and that's how you do your marketing. Practice different filming techniques, practice different lighting techniques, practice different editing techniques. Learn how to use CapCut if you want to just edit on your phone. Understand that your numbers will always fluctuate, but as long as you keep posting, the audience will come back. Stay confident in yourself. That's the key to this job, is staying confident. As long as you are confident, you will be able to make it, I promise. Do whatever will make you confident. If you're a woman, hey, if a job is going to make you feel more confident, get that job. Hey, if you're a dude and being in really good shape is going to make you more confident in taking shirtless pictures, then you better get in really good shape, because that's essentially what's going to make you successful in this industry, is being confident. Treating this like a real job also helps. Having a robust schedule helps. It's not for everybody, but that's what I do. Surround yourself with like-minded people, preferably in the same industry you are if you're planning on doing this for a living. They will help inspire you, give you ideas, help you move forward in your career. That's what I do. All of my friends are also in the same industry. I surround myself with these people and I compare them to myself very often. I look at their social media pages, talk to them, see what they're doing, copy them in some ways, and I'm sure they copy me as well. But yeah, that's some advice I gotta give to you. Reasons why you shouldn't get into this industry. Maybe also some reasons why you should. All I gotta say, get popular on social media before you hop in. That's all I gotta say. It's my biggest, most important piece of advice for you. Peace out.
He basically emphasizes on how, first and foremost, he has to do things that he's not necessarily comfortable with. But he talks about how he doesn't even like bottoming, but he does it because it sells, and he just acts. It is acting at the end of the day. Because 95% of the time, when you see those extremely aggressive scenes in your adult cinematography, those men are not enjoying that. It's not like their coochies became vibranium steel just because a camera cut on. If it looks like it would hurt you, odds are it is hurting them, and they are acting through it. But when we get onto the stipulations on if you should make it, I actually agree with him, because I've said it time and time before. If you get into OnlyFans or adult cinematography in general, you first and foremost already need to have a built-in following, because if you do not, it's not worth it. For the sole fact that in 2024, the market is still oversaturated. He said it himself, where he was like, either you're going to fully throw yourself into this and make it a career like any other job, because even with his privileges, if he was lazy, he would not be a millionaire. And I can give him that for the sole fact that he has the leg up on us, just for the sole fact on how he presents in the world. But he was not going to make it to like millionaire status just by sitting on his behind. If I'm being quite honest, like even Flashman Wade, who is a straight man who acknowledges he does like pandering, not gay baiting, but pandering, he still gets up and works. He still gets up and shaky. He does his job. So I will say he did drop some gems in this commentary. I still think the criticism of him being a straight white man in our community getting money that should rightfully go to LGBT people is a fair counter argument. I've always discussed this and I always stand by it. We should be funding the people within our community rather than funding people that are simply pretending. But at the same time, Timothy, from what I've seen, is actually doing collaborations. Like he's actually doing the work. That's why I didn't think he would possibly be straight. But at the end of the day, I do agree with the commentary he made about how if you are considering getting into the industry, you have to understand that it will isolate you. You have to understand that you will not be able to freely talk about what you do for a living. You have to understand that it is going to consume your day to day like any other job. And what a lot of people don't understand is that you don't necessarily get breaks. For example, My OnlyFans, it's at a lower price because I don't post a lot, but I still post consistently enough that you feel like you're getting your money's worth. But if I don't market, if I don't make trailers that go up on Twitter, if I don't do blah, 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 you know, the intricacies that goes into running a business, my numbers do dip because people are like, oh, I didn't even know you were posting because I just didn't see any notifications. So he dropped a lot of wisdom. He dropped a lot of wisdom in that video, so I will give him credit where credit is due. But I do think the commentary on it was valid. But if you've made it this long, definitely drop your opinion on the situation down below. Did you know Timothy Champagne was actually straight? Did you know he was just acting, essentially doing his job? Because once again, he was fully collaborating. That's why I'm just sitting here like, I had no idea he was straight. Also, how do you feel about heterosexual presenting muscular white men still making hand over fist, even if their content is considered stale by a large demographic, for the sole fact of how they present in the world, compared to black and brown people of color, who, in theory, can only really use the industry as supplementary income? As he said himself, like, if this isn't your full career, you're only going to be able to make enough money to have, like, spending change on the weekend, which I've told y'all that before. But how do you feel about that situation, seeing as how a lot of black and brown performers still go fully into this and they don't make it to at least a fourth of the income that he's raking in? But yeah, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all, and I'll see you guys next time.